Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Forged here. Today we're going to be talking about Ice Golem, but we're also going to be talking about taking those mechanics and just chucking them out the window too. We're just going to look at Ice Golem in a sense of brute forcing it and just kind of having fun with it also at the same time, since I just got Terras's 6-star Ascension sold not too long ago. So let's take a look and hop right into it. Let's take a look at normal Ice Golem 25 first. We got Padraig, Mikage, Kaimar, Taras, and Elva. So I'll go over the presets real quick. Padraig, we got opening up with his A3 just so we can get some turn meter fill as well as the increased speed. Then we got Mikage opening up with her A3 as well for the increased attack and the increased crit damage. And then we got Kaimar coming in with his A2, turn off the A3, just so that we can get the days. And then Taras, we're going to open up with his A3, because as you can see, it scales up in damage 15% for every buff on an ally, up to 500%. And then we got Elva opening up with her A2 for the block debuff and the increased speed. And then Kaimar will do his A3 to open up wave 2, just so that that entire cycle will go through. And then Mikage in wave 3 will go into her alt form for the crowd control on her A2 for the minions. So as this fight opens up, I'll talk about why I brought each person, and then we'll also talk about some replacements too. So with Padraig, I brought him basically because he has buffs, he has heals, he's a speed lead for dungeons, and so all of those buffs are going to help increase Taras's A3 damage for the waves as well as the boss. Mikage, I brought her for buffs as well as CC on the boss wave for her A2 on the stun control. Kaimar, he's there for resets for the second wave to allow us to get to the boss wave as fast as possible, as you guys see. Taras, he is basically our damage farm. He's going to be the one that's doing all of the heavy lifting, nuking the waves, nuking the boss minions. And then Elva, we have there for buffs, heal, cleanse, revive if necessary, and everything like that. And now, as you guys can see, we got to the boss at around 25-26 seconds. And so the waves were no problem because we had so many buffs on Taras that he was just able to plow through all of the enemies. And that's also in part to his gear set that he's running. He has 6-piece Merciless as well as 2-piece Slayer. So he's getting the 35% ignore defense as well as the 5% crit rate and the 15% crit damage from the Slayer. So on top of the 6-piece Merciless, he also has the 6-star Crushing Rend, which on stage 25 and any hard stage dungeon, you're going to be ignoring 35% because you ignore 1% for every 10 level of the enemy. So if everybody is level 350 on the enemy side, you're going to be ignoring 35% of the defense. And then the area bonus, he also gets 10% for Ice Golem Peak, and then Helm Smasher, he gets 25%. So at most, he's going to be ignoring 105% of the enemy defense, and at minimum, he's going to be ignoring 80% of the enemy defense. And as you guys saw, we finished that round in less than 2 minutes. So let's go ahead and try it on hard mode with the exact same team, the same presets, and let's just see what happens. Now, on hard mode, it is heavily advised against to not nuke the boss because, obviously the boss deals immense damage in hard mode, especially on stage 10. But we're just going to say take all those mechanics and chuck them out the window. And now in this run, while it's going on in the background, and you can see Taras just being the absolute MVP of the team as he is, I'll talk about some replacements for each person in the squad. That way you guys may be able to come up with something better on your account or whatnot. But keep in mind this was more so meant to be, let's say, a Taras damage farm, if you will. So for Padraig, you could use Krisk, you could use Lydia. Both of those guys bring buffs, as well as Krisk brings decreased defense when he gets hit. And then Lydia also brings the decreased defense and the weaken. If you were to bring either of those, you would just move Elva into the lead spot just because she's speed lead in all battle. For Mikage, if you didn't have her or you don't have her, you could bring Armand, you could bring Fabian, you could bring Odin for his stun. Basically, any CC will help just for the minions on the final wave. I brought her just because I have her and she brings buff in her main form. Elva, you could bring Pythion, you could bring Ancora, you could bring Rector Drath, you could bring Tagore. All of those guys bring buffs as well as revive, heal if necessary. Mainly any healer in that spot. And then for Kaimar, you could bring Donnie, you could bring Yumiko. Any reset champion will do. Taras, you could bring Thor, you could bring Seer, you could bring Marius. Anybody that's going to do an absolute monster amount of damage, but you will probably have to have them at 6-star. So, as you guys can see, the team is working in hard mode stage 10. Taras just absolutely going off on all of the minions and the boss, slapping for 1.5 million all the way up to, I've seen, 2.4. So I don't know if you guys have something quite similar to this, or because another reason I brought this video upon is because some people might not have a good burner on their account, because that's kind of what Ice Golem Hard 10 is kind of all about, because you get better damage when you bring a burner and you destroy the minions' HP with each burn. But like I said, in this run, we're taking all of those mechanics and all the benefits of bringing a burner, and we're just chucking them out the window and brute forcing it because we can. That's what Taras is there for. That's why Taras has a 6-star soul. And as you guys can see, he is just absolutely carrying the entire team on his back when it comes to damage and keeping the boss down, keeping the minions down. And it's honestly just fun to watch, fun to see. So there we go. Sub 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So, I mean, not necessarily the fastest thing in the world. Could definitely be faster, especially if you were to bring somebody that has decreased defense or weaken. But let's go ahead and take a look at the team. We have Mikage running a shield set just to bring extra buffs for Taras A3 through the waves. Got the Wand of Submission on her for some speed and some HP. Got 6-star Intimidating Presence to increase Padraig's dungeon ability aura. And then let's take a look at Taras. Like I said, 6-piece Merciless, 2-piece Slayer. Pushing 94, almost 95,000 HP with 237 speed, almost 330% crit damage. I run the Arethi Coronet on him just because I had him in Hydra this week and was doing some testing. Fully booked with 6-star Crushing Rend and Helm Smasher. Padraig, we got in 9-piece Protection, fast and tanky, just so that he can get buffs in and we can boost Taras's damage from all of his buffs. His Relic we have just so that he can bring extra turn meter. And then let's take a look at Elva, who we also have in 9-piece Protection. She's really fast at 320 for this team, but she's also really tanky. And then got the Wand of Submission on her. She is fully booked with Intimidating Presence and all of her masteries. Kaimar, we just kind of have in a hodgepodge. Just have to make him faster than all of the other people just so that he can get the reset off right away in Wave 2. Molten Deathbell for accuracy. Fully booked with Brimstone and T6 Eagle Eye Mastery. So there you have it, guys. Like I said, more so just a fun video today on brute forcing your way through Ice Golem and taking all those mechanics out the window. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.